So this is my first time going to Farrar.
That was back in the early days before people really knew about Farrar.
It'll be a lot of fun to be with this group again.
Here we are, good old Farrar.
The team returns to location they have personal ties with.
I've been here several times before, but this is the first time going under endeavors.
With the familiar energy, are the spirits more likely to come out and play?
I started playing some of his new album, Believe, which is pretty good.
What was that bang? Did you hear a bang?
Did you hear a creaking or groaning or something just now?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
from over there.
Eric might stay and talk to you a little bit, but I promised you I would leave if you lit it up, and I'm a man of my word.
You get that, Phil?
That is funny.
Activities happening. Because we believe in you. We know you're here. We've seen you, felt you.
Then assistance is needed by a friend.
Joe's a friend of mine. We go back all the way back to elementary school, and it's been psychologically messing with them. Kind of want to bypass any kind of investigation. You're tired of it. You just want it gone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
When I found this old letter,
Why don't you write your mom sometime? I never know where you are.
By bypassing an investigation, does a cleansing prove successful?
You're no longer welcome here. You need to leave. You need to leave this area now. Track any negative unwanted spirits to you. Take them to where they need to be. It's no longer here. It's no longer your home anymore. On this case.
Thoughts on going to Farrar. I've been here several.
Besides when Kim showed up.
Well, I'm glad to be back after
It's intriguing being Jackie.
Ask questions.
Alright, the history of Farrar and myself go back probably further than anybody else on the team. Kim is probably second in that, because we've been going to Farrar for several years now.
My thoughts on going to Farrar. I've been here several times before, but this is the first time going under endeavors.
Back in about 2007, when Jackie Carpenter and I had first started going to this school, kind of brought some attention to it, and it's just grown, and now it's made a name for itself in the paranormal community and the commercialized paranormal. So now there are teams in there frequently, mainly on weekends, and they can rent it out for the night.
So this is my first time going to Farrar. Eric's talked a lot about it, and I'm pretty interested. This will be my first case out of school before, so working with a larger environment.
Alright, so we're heading off to Farrar here. Welcome back, Clay, as that's what I gotta say.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
So that's awesome. Been since almost 2 years leave of absence.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is my first investigation back since Indiana, which was quite a while ago, and it'll be a lot of fun to be with this group again. I had to get a lot out of my system.
yeah, Yeah, well, that's good. We're ready to have you back here. And you remember him, of course?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to this. I didn't sleep very well last night because I was so excited about it all, but got at least a few hours of sleep in there, so running on fumes. But should be very intriguing.
Kim's gonna join us. Her kid is sick right now, so Jason is the one that's gonna have to, stay home and take care of that. So we're down one person on that. Kim's gonna meet us there.
When I was there before, I did my first instrumental transcommunication investigation, and I'd like to repeat that because when I got back to, and went over the footage, I found that there were some voices that I didn't hear at the time, and I've refined the methods a little bit since then, so I'm hoping to get up to that same area and see if I can get that same person to come out and talk to me again.
In brief, there's been shadow people here before. There's been apparitions spotted. Even myself before on a night shot camera, still photo camera, took a picture of what looked like a student maybe of 13, 14, 15 years of age, sitting, leaning like this, kind of sitting in midair against the stage in that auditorium area. It does fluctuate time to time, just like a lot of places. You might get a lot of activity one visit, and then the next visit it's completely, for lack of a better term, dead. Not really a whole lot going on. That was way back in 2007, 2008. That was back in the early days before people really knew about Farrar. So with me, it's kind of nice because I want to go back there and see how it's changed since it's been open. Because I have a theory, and I believe this from evidence I've got before, that when you open an environment to the public, anybody and everybody goes in there, especially in the early years, because like Bentonsport Island, Mason House Inn, Farrar, and I'm sure Velisco probably had something like this too. In the early days, it was just kind of like, okay, sure, come on in. Most of the owners say the same thing. They were just like, well, we didn't even think about having it open to the paranormal public. But then it was a free-for-all at that time. And then over time, the rules came in, and they started cutting down on what you could do. No Ouija boards, no provoking, none of this stuff. But I have a feeling that some people have done that, and there's a little damage that has been done here. And I want to see which entities are still there, if any. How it's changed, if it's been more aggressive, because some of the stories are that there's light bulbs being thrown at people now and stuff like that. We're back in 2007, 2008. It didn't happen. It was unheard of back then. So we're wanting to know what's going on there. We've used it as a training ground several times, multiple times. Took Alex there way back in chapter 1. And what I like about going to the same place that we've done many, many times too is you get more of a solid research baseline at that location. Instead of doing the typical 5 to 10 hour overnight at some spot out of 365 days of the year, and you're just there for that section. So you get a better grasp of what activity is going on, what might be normal, of the paranormal, and what might not be.
Do you think warm or cold, does that have any effect on spirit activity or the level of activity in your experience?
In what I've found, no, not yet. Not that I've discovered that. I know that cold spots, especially when it's cold out, like when we did the Black Angel of Iowa City, we were feeling cold spots still, even though it was probably in 45 degrees out or something that night in November.
So it's colder than even the surroundings in it.
Yeah, it's just completely different. Because when you say that, any skeptics will be like, well, it's cold out, but right. It has its own. It is a cold chill with tingles is the best way I can feel it. It's not just the ambient cold.
But you can sense it. I mean, it's not like you don't feel it.
Yes, I can still sense it, yep. Right. And anytime I get a chill or anything like that, I can usually tell it's spiritual when it's spiritual or ambient. Cold spots out in the cold. Oh, nice. And we have the laser grid. Awesome. It got you. I knew it was up to something back there. You got all quiet.
It's just a laser grid. In the car.
Oh, I was not expecting that. Thank you, Kline.
You're welcome.
All right, well, here we are. Good old Farrar.
It's nice to be back. I had a great investigation here when I was here before. Hasn't changed much.
Nope. But some of the activity in has.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. All right.
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing good.
That's good. All right. So, having this over, this is actually the first time I've been here with under the Endeavors thing, with no public events, no other teams, stuff like that. So it'll be, I'm anxious to see what we get here too. I know Clay's been here and he's really eager to get back in here too. So,
Oh, good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I can tell you about some of the things I got here when I was here before. I had like a spirit box when I was on my laptop. It's called an EVP maker, and I've got all kinds of activity up in your the stage area there.
Yes, very active.
But I didn't hear it until I got back and did it. So now I'm going to try it again with more of a live response kind of a setup and see if we can't have a conversation with somebody in the room.
Great.
yeah. And then a couple things I want to try too, like I talked to you and Jim about before, is up on the stage, do a performance or something of maybe some of my newer songs I've done and play them up on the stage to see if we can get the kids out again. Because I remember back 2008, 2009-ish, 2007, that was mainly, it was the children up there.
You know, I've always said we've never had what I would have considered activity on the run. And just recently, well, it was just a strange day and a very strange night. Just the atmosphere in our room, and I've never said this before, but the light at Jim's table worked, didn't work, then worked again. My cell phone twice stopped working and was stuck, and it couldn't reboot it or anything. Finally it started working. I had a blue screen on my computer. I'm very skeptical about it myself. Of course, I live here, so I don't, I don't readily think that's what it is when I hear something or feel something. So, it could have all been coincidence, but it was just a lot to happen in a few hours. All these different things are kind of going haywire and related to each other.
When I did Hemodazin Rock back in the day, remember, and that shadow was coming over my head.
Yes, yeah.
We'll see how drained I am, because there's certain things I want to do before I even get to that point. I want to see if when I'm going to Hemodazin Rock again. All right, we'll leave you to it so you can get warmed up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us over too today.
Oh, you're
That was
more
last
than
minute.
welcome. Yes, you too. Your hands are so warm. How did you do that?
I'm not going to say. This is a kind of initiation for you.
I know, by the way, I know the story. I've been here
Okay.
and we did have, and so I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah. If you can go into, because you heard, I took Alex, I had him do the same thing, and he nailed it. All right, I'll let you two then go in if you want. All right, Jackie, see what impressions you are getting. Open up just enough, not too much to be drained.
I don't like it back here.
That's part of it.
Kind of heavy and sad.
Yes. What do you think happened back there?
Eric showed me the bathroom on the second floor. And going in there, like as soon as you enter, it's, I don't know, like a really heavy, sad kind of feeling. And as you go further into the bathroom, like further towards the back, towards the window, it gets heavier and heavier, and you're just like, you want to cry almost. I don't know, getting it over here, really.
Would you rather wait, come back,
Yeah.
see if you can get it later? Okay, I won't spill the beans. We'll see here. To be continued. Throughout the case presented in the documentary, our evidence was revealed in real time.
Just a second here. Let's tap down.
We'll go with this one. I'm gonna need green. This is where Alright, well, we were doing pretty good. We had some, the setup was going alright, and then Kim had just arrived, and then we're having issues with the last camera that we wanted in the gym. So, I know that's not unheard of for electronics and stuff to have issues here. The setup was going pretty smooth, and we were giving Kim a hard time about it because once she arrived here, then we started having issues.
And evidently that was it. There was something on that connector and it cleared it off.
Good to know. So that's something for future reference.
This will be my first time at Farrar. I'm having a blast. Setup went really well until Ken showed up, and then camera 7 was acting up and flicking in and out, flickering in and out.
During setup, I came in the middle of setup, which was planned. No, I'm just kidding. And Eric blamed me, but it wasn't me. We were having problems, like with the one camera down in the basement, the gym area.
It was her idea, let me just say.
You all are assholes.
I like that. What was that?
Yeah. How did it feel?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's been a real kick for me to be back here at the Farrar School. I've been anxious to get back here, and it's been worth it. We've had some activity, we've had some voices, some singing. I heard footsteps above me when I was on the second floor, so obviously it was up on the third floor. So Eric has informed us that we're going to move on up there to the third floor and do some work up there, and I'm ready. I want to find out what's going on up there.
We're gonna go up to the third floor, I believe, start our first session there, up there. We just stopped what we're doing because we thought we had heard. All right, we gotta get going. The activity's happening. We gotta get going. The activity's happening. I work on music on the side too, working soundtracks and things like that. And I figured this time around, especially since there's been performances done in the past, some on camera, some off camera, by other individuals on the stage area in particular, it's elicited responses from spirits. A lot of times there'll be activity that will increase, or children's spirits will come out with that positive stir of energy in the environment. Later, after it. I'm going to try to play some music, a couple songs that I actually wrote and performed, and just do a little performance here and see if any activity happens. Alright, show yourself. We've taken pictures of you before, specifically for the children here. If there's any children or minors under the age of 18 years old, feel free to step forward. If there's a teacher, I was here 2 weeks ago, there was a female here, a woman. She's welcome as well. Inspirational song from my new album, Believe.
We're getting very heavy feelings up there too. Like there's a lot of energy, and especially in the auditorium.
You're not down, get back up, show must go on. Here we go. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, no.
pick up any experiences, presences? The children coming out?
They're all over by the door.
Yeah, so they're gonna hear walking over there.
Well, I was getting the curiosity.
Yeah.
But that's awesome because I wanted that. I wanted the kids to come out because they have not been out like they used to be.
No, they're all like right here. So we were up on the third floor in the theater room, and Eric had brought his amp and his MP3 player and started playing some of his new album, Believe, which is pretty good. And then the kids were kind of curious, so they were at the door, like kind of scared to come in because they've seen us, like me, as in me and Eric, but they haven't seen like Jackie and Clay. And
what's changed here, children? You can let us know, because I get the feeling of fear. Possibly somebody else brought into this school that doesn't belong here.
During the performance, we're starting to hear some noises that sound like they're kind of coming maybe out in the hallway, and we're getting some vibes on the spiritual side of it.
We tried something new. We actually hooked up some speakers and Eric's MP3 player, and he sang some songs from his new album. That was a pretty cool new experience since we've never really done something like that before.
Can you come up on the stage and go by the floor?
I hear children.
Eric's gonna make whoever that is go away, okay? Do you want to hear a song? Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Yeah, I'll be leaving. You'll be here with Eric and Jackie and Phil and Clay, okay?
That would sound like someone in the age range of 10 to 12 years old. Did you hear that?
Alright, so you gotta take off now. Hopefully you enjoyed your very short stay, in the first session at least. And
I did.
Had experiences right away.
Yes. I can't stay all night because I have a sick child.
Alright, well thanks again. Oh, here.
Really? I'm like, she's giving me. Yeah, nice to meet you too,
Yeah, nice to
buddy.
meet you.
silhouettes. Said Edward and 2 silhouettes.
It was an interesting evening. I spent some time alone up in that, I guess we call it an auditorium / gymnasium area up there.
That's amazing. Promises.
So I wanted to get back up there again and try it with this group and with Phil. Well, before he came up to join me, I thought I heard some footsteps up there out in the hall. I kept thinking Phil was coming in. I kept looking around, waiting for him to come through the door. He never did, not until much later. So that kind of perplexed me. Kind of hoping that shows up on the audio and that I can validate those sounds that I was hearing. EVP maker, this is kind of what I've been talking about, that I've been anxious to get going. And while I was here, we've had some things happening on the interceptor camera. I've been hearing some footsteps behind me while this was running, and I was running some tests with it, and now we're ready to try it for real and see if we get any responses. The thing of it is I just moved the digital voice recorder, so we'll tag that real quick. But the thing of it is, this sometimes have to run for quite a while. It sometimes takes an entity, or especially if it's a child entity, it takes a while for them to learn how to use this. It's called an EVP maker, and it takes an audio file and chops it up into little pieces. And I've also got it set to reverse. So it's running in about, looks like about 170 milliseconds per segment in reverse. So if there's any words or any language, discernible language that comes out of this, it's positively impossible for that to be a part of the recording. It has to be a manipulation of some kind, and it's beyond the normal, it's beyond what we understand, and that makes it paranormal. And that's exactly what paranormal is. And we're just going to go ahead and see if we can find anything or communicate with any entities that might be here.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, and I kept explaining to these entities that just went off again. And we were just sitting here.
That's the motion picture?
Yeah. And it's facing the other way. That's facing over there. And it just went off. And now it's turned off again.
And then the stage, covering the entire stage, and the door. One's outside because we've seen shadows earlier through that window. That one.
He's our cameraman. I don't think he believes you're here. You know where you get a sense of how short these segments are is when you hear that child's voice, because that's the one that's most distinctive from everything else. And when you hear it, it's going, Look, that's pretty significantly short segments. So if we do get any words that come through on this, it's a strong indicator of paranormal activity. It's an instrumental transcommunication device, and I don't feel like we had a whole lot of success. We thought we might have heard some things in there, so I'm very anxious for evidence review to see if anything came out of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of kind of eerie.
when I was here with Tabitha and that crew, we went in there and then we had Suzanne and Tabitha in here, and me and another guy, and we're kind of joking around about the little boy that's in here, saying that he gets nervous when there's girls in there, and we were joking about that. And we all shut up and said, okay, well, let's get out, and we started walking out. And there's this voice, it's none of us, and it's a little boy voice, and it says, it's okay, she's leaving. Plain as day, on this recorder. Spooky, it was very spooky.
We should go in there when we come back in.
Got some funny feelings out here, just some odd, like something's not right here feelings, and so we thought we'd come out here and check it out. No K2s, I'm gonna grab a couple of quick photos of that up there. Why would any entity or creature want to be out here and stay out here?
Right.
I don't understand it, but it feels like it. I mean, I stepped over here and I'm actually shivering more than I was out there. There, calm down. Calm down. That's me whispering. I would make a shitty Eskimo. I kid you not.
You and I both, my friend. You and I both. I don't know. There's something over there.
Is like a voice? Or?
No, like a thud.
Like this one? Well, with it windy like this and these trees
Yeah,
and
so
half dead.
I was thinking something like that.
Yeah.
But
If it were warm, I'd go investigate. I can't stand this. I just cannot stand it.
That was fast.
You go on there, see how long you last. Oh, goodness gracious. The other problem is it's very windy out there, so any audio is going to be kind of corrupted by that. So.
Okay, what I had figured
And
here...
I shot several pictures too.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking we would need the boiler room revisited. This floor, preferably at least touched a little bit.
Right.
I was going to start in there with him, and then we heard you guys come in, so we came over here.
Well, no, go right ahead. Actually, I'd like to hit a few of those classrooms on the 3rd floor also, just with the EVP session, just wander through and see if we can get any hits on that.
Okay.
But I'll do anything that you, we haven't really done
How's the
anything.
camera going? The battery? It's fine? We had a battery drain because it was empty up there, and I brought it down here, and it's 107 minutes now. So I was originally going to start this one because we thought you were going to be out there a little bit longer.
Did you like my response?
Yeah, I did. Oh, and Kim liked your finger too. Alright, if you're here, go ahead and do, I think this device here, go ahead and blink. Blink all the way up. You're doing it on the 2nd floor.
Yep, this electrical box. All of this. Look at this over here. Just crazy.
Wow,
There's
yeah, I'm getting a bunch over here.
Yeah, and it's as you're showing, there's going all the way out into the room. So, as you and I both know, that can either cause somebody to think something's going on that isn't, or it can actually fuel paranormal activity as well. It'd be a catalyst.
Preferably not throwing anything, but letting us know possibly why that happened, why you're in discomfort or not happy. I know I get the feeling you just rather be left alone, that you don't like the consistence of people coming through here, disturbing you, asking you questions. Maybe you feel like a guinea pig.
I don't know why, if I get any feeling at all, it's in that corner over there.
Yeah. It's not the first time.
Well, we've had
Other people have been here. We've had it before over there.
Well, that was pretty interesting there in the boiler room. I do feel like there's something going on in there. We were hearing some sounds and the equipment malfunctions. We were having some difficulty. I know Phil and I, when we were trying to get things set up, and Eric had to come down and help us out with it. But when Eric and I were in there alone, we both had a strong sense of that back in that corner, something going on in one particular corner of the room. Did you hear a creaking or groaning or something just now?
Just, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
From over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you. Are you getting agitated?
If you come over here and light this up, I will leave this area. I'll leave the boiler room.
K2 hit again. Here we go again.
Oh, there, I just got a hit here too. Alright, I promised you I'd leave if you did that. So let me get my flashlight lit so I can get out of here safely. Eric might stay and talk to you a little bit, but I promised you I would leave if you lit it up, and I'm a man of my word.
It's the weirdest thing on the floor.
And so I went back there and did an EVP session back in there and shot a bunch of pictures. So this evidence review is going to be very, very interesting on this one.
Interesting. Did you get that, Phil?
That is funny.
Stopped.
I'm trying to see if orientation has anything to do with it. I don't know. And it just stopped and was pulsating.
But it was going all the way to red.
Yeah. It's weird. Go head to head.
That happened before?
I've never seen
Not
that.
with all three. We've had two similar.
There it goes.
Is that you? Can you do that again?
It was really cool. We enjoyed it. How weird is that? I'm gonna shut it off. Turn it back on.
Nothing on me.
That's weird. So, how do you guys think the case went so far? Well, like overall.
I think it went pretty well. Wasn't quite as much activity as I expected, but maybe I'm just seeing it from my perspective. I think everybody had something that they witnessed or had experienced. It was beyond my expectations coming back and working with Paranormal Endeavors again. That group has grown. Eric has grown in what he knows and what he does and how he handles investigations. And I feel like I've grown in my understanding of paranormal and the kinds of things, the direction I want to go in investigations. And thank God it meshes. I thought he and I worked very well together, and I thought that the investigation was outstanding, and I'm anxious to get out there and do some more.
I would say in scheme personal experience-wise, there's quite a bit more than the past few couple visits of me being here. So that just means evidence, which we still have quite a bit to go over, and a lot of photos, a lot of the footage, and spirit interceptor and stuff. So, you know how that goes. You can find the holy grail in that.
Well, yeah, and I was a little disappointed with how my ITC stuff went, but you never know. You get into evidence review, and there might be things in there that I didn't hear at the time, and could have a preponderance of evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
No group high five?
Yeah, well, or on to the next.
On to the next. Adios.
Yeah, so what we did here is had us over here, did the investigation. I even performed on stage a couple songs for my own music and stuff, just to kind of see if we bring out the children, because I remember them being here in the atmosphere that used to be back when we first started coming here.
Right.
We think it had worked. The senses were picking up on that. It was a more pleasant feeling and just a joyfulness in that room at that time. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of the K2 as well, we had 3 K2s that were doing very odd readings. They're all just on the grid all the way to the red, the orange. All 3 of them at the same time. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember we commented on that. And I was just like, I've seen this before with the tri-field meter way back in the day when you still used to go with us up around. That was the public, one of those events, and it was up in the stage room, and it was doing, the needle on that was going like this. I don't know if you remember, but it was like, and I was like, whoa, you know, and that was the first time I seen tri-field meter do that. Okay, what we have here is we have the evidence on here on the flash drive, and I actually have another copy for you to have for your own, just so you have it, of our copies. And I did the other one exactly like this. The drivers and the stuff that came on the flash drive, I put them all together in one folder, and that's just up here. Our stuff, though, is in this one that's labeled that.
I'm always surprised at what people find when they come, and especially you, Eric. You always seem to come up with so much, especially from the early days when we were investigating things ourselves here.
So we want to say, you know, if something happens, you know, all right, for audio, we have something going on here. Audio, possible female voice, something like that, because for this very reason. So then it helps not just us, but the client later on in the audio be like, okay, they just said that after that, so it must be before, right, in that area, and it helps overall. So
we always enjoy having you come.
Sounds.
Oh, wow.
Okay, play it again. I'm hearing like what seems like a push of a desk or something.
Well, especially the name Nathan, I want to check out. We have the teenager that I need to investigate. I'm wondering if his name is Nathan or Edward. So I need to investigate that.
Just right after I had done 2 of my songs, and so I knew we were gathering. It was a very small crowd.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Edward likes you.
Oh my God!
Edward, does that ring a bell?
Edward in 2 syllables. Check that on this recorder.
This first time you're hearing this. It said Edward likes you, and you heard Edward at the time, but you didn't know what the rest
And I caught the 2 syllables, but I couldn't tell what it said. It was just too garbled at the time. You just do it multiple times, then you can pick it out. What is it? It's a specialized ghost box, and it's on a computer program. I found it online through an ITC Institute, which is Instrumental Transcommunication website.
Oh, really?
And instrumental transcommunication is EVP or spirits showing up on a TV or a radio, that sort of thing. And what this does, it takes record a piece of a radio PSA with a little bit of white noise off of AM radio, and then this program chops it up into little milliseconds. So you just have the little phonetic sounds in there, but they're all garbled up.
Right.
It's like a ghost box.
Yeah.
But you have control over it. I can reverse them. I can speed them up. I can slow them. I can change the size of the segments that it chops it into.
We had several, and this could be the technical aspects of what I was just referencing before about something interfering or something that we can't explain interfering with the DVR system, because this is the first time I had the DVR do this at a case. This is where, well, you watch the time code up here real closely and you see what I mean.
Oh, there it went.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see it going up and over it.
It's never
For
done,
eternity.
It's never done that, you know what I mean?
Oh my God! The cameras all going off at the same time. I find that amazing. I don't know why that would have happened, or what could have happened during that time when they were all off. I just have to wonder about all of that.
And it's like,
Go back. That's unbelievable.
yeah. And this is just other
It did that
angles,
on
the other
its own?
channels. It did it on all the channels. At first, I thought I was almost mad. I was like, "Oh, did we just miss during the time we did our first big EVP session?"
Yeah.
Luckily, we started that at 11 o'clock, so
So
still,
it never
Yeah.
skipped on you while you were active.
didn't skip us
in the
while we
picture.
were doing stuff in the picture, but there's still
You
areas
think
in there where
randomly,
to us
yeah.
it's still frustrating because there's still areas in there that was uncovered. It's like, that means something could have happened during that time.
Yeah. I'm very happy that Paranormal Endeavors came over, and I always am. They do an excellent job, and they're always welcome here.
Yeah, so ranking for this, I mean, it was tougher to kind of come to a conclusion on this one of where we stand, because how we do it is we have break it down on we have a ranking scale that we have for each place that we go to, and we get a lot of low rankings typically, which would have been the yellow up here. It's yours.
Wow, because I got a couple others from people. I think
Yeah.
I always thought we'd be renting movies that way.
All right, so that was our findings here, and thanks again for allowing us to come over here again. I know we use this place quite a bit for like training purposes and whatever, but to have it just to ourselves for investigation, it was something that I know a lot of our team members and myself were wanting to do for quite some time, so it was good to
Well, we
come over
appreciate
here.
it.
Yep.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
And
Thank
you
you,
for
Eric.
coming, Eric. The evidence that they found was very compelling, and I just can't wait for them to come back again.
All right, Joe's a friend of mine. We go back all the way back to elementary school years, and so grew up together, saw each other for the most part almost every day in the at least from the 5th grade to 12th grade era. He's recently got himself a new home. He moved in, and like things that are synonymous in the paranormal community, you find a home, you're like, ooh, I gotta have it. You move into it, and it's like, ooh, maybe this isn't quite a dream home of mine, because then there's activity in it, and it comes out, you know, and a lot of movies and stuff touch on, you know, 28 days later and all this kind of stuff. But he had contacted me. He was saying that there's some activity going on there, unwanted, and it's been psychologically messing with them. Kind of want to bypass any kind of investigation. You just want it. You're tired of it. You just want it gone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I like to be able to sleep.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. What's some of the things that happened more recently?
Well, now it's just concentrated. Like when I'm going to bed, I can feel it in the room with me.
Mm-hmm.
When it's really dark in here, it gets really dark in here. So
okay.
I'll turn my bedroom light on, and then I'll turn off the lights in the house and gradually get back to my bedroom.
Yeah.
You know. Then when I'm just laying there trying to go to sleep, I can just feel something, tension in the air.
Hmm.
And it's gone as far as I can feel something physical. So.
Yeah. Any kind of physical altercations? Any pushing, scratching, hitting? Nothing like that?
Nothing like that. But
okay. Psychologically playing with you?
Well, I sleep kind of curled up in a ball, and like if I bring my legs down and pull the covers up, I can literally feel something on the edge of the bed. So.
Okay. All right. And there's some things that we discussed too about possibly that have been with you, separate from location. Is
right.
That something that you feel, or is this separate from that?
I think this is separate from that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And you just moved in, correct? So.
It's been a month and a half.
Yeah. That's okay. And was it really more active once you moved stuff in and you started kind of making it your own?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of goes under the remodeling theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was fine before.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was working on pipes in the basement, and my friend was here with me, and we thought we heard footsteps upstairs. So we came up here. There wasn't anything. I was pretty stressed out, and I'm like pretty far into the not smoking thing. Well, on the way back downstairs, I was just thinking in my head, man, I'd kill for a cigarette. And then right where we were working was a perfectly laid out Parliament light, what I used to smoke.
Okay.
And there hasn't been any cigarettes in the house besides my Doomsday cigarette, which is in my liquor cabinet, and that one was still there untouched.
This is a cigarette that was randomly found. With no logical explanation for why it's in here, but it was the brand that he smoked before. And he's been trying not to. And he's actually been, how long have you been clean?
It's been over 70 days.
70 days.
Which I've only lived here for a month and a half.
Yeah. So, okay. I say, honestly, what I'm getting right now is that it's trying to, for some reason it's still attached to this home, feels that it's still in its possession. You moving in, it's not settling too well with it, and so what it's trying to do is it's kind of, not even physically, it's not like pushing, shoving, or anything like that, but psychologically trying to fuck with your mind to get to the point of where you're like, okay, well, screw it, we don't want to live here anymore, and then you'd just be another one of those people that move out.
I talked to my neighbor, who I actually work with, and he said there was a couple that lived here for like 6-7 months, and they took off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They can't have attachments to themselves, because if we're cleansing the property, we're cleansing the wrong thing if it's attachment to them. Or an attachment to an item. If the item's still in the property, when we do a cleansing of the property, what's the point? We should have done a cleansing of the object, or remove the object altogether. You know, so those are several examples, and a lot of factors play into how this can be successful and how it might not be. And of course, the realtors or anybody like that, they never disclosed that information, did they, about any activity here or any deaths in the house?
I told you about the letter that I found.
Briefly, but say that again.
I showed it here.
Yeah.
In a cupboard.
Oh wow. Okay.
When I found this old letter, It looks like it's from somebody's mom who lived here. It goes into like how she's like not doing very well health-wise, and she just wants to see him one last time. This is marked November 20th, 1985.
Okay.
But it's super sad to me when I got teary-eyed when I was reading it. Yeah, and it talks about how the person she's writing needs to squash this deal with his brother. Apparently there was bad blood there. And then you read through this whole letter, and on the other side here it says, return to sender. So the guy never got it.
Oh.
So it was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Kind of sad deal.
Because you don't have the abstract or anything like that. You haven't looked at it for this house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Read some of this here. So, dear Jerry, okay. Why don't you write your mom sometime? I never know where you are. Hence, the return to sender. He must have been constantly moving. I had our first big snow ice storm yesterday. Frank had to work overtime. My arthritis bothers me, so I did some light exercises on my something flared up again, so I was rushed to the hospital, and now I'm wearing that patch on my breast, it looks like. They have come a long way in medicine. How's your business going? We're at the same company. Hope you're all okay, stay well. I'm so depressed to think I can't do anything but do a little cooking and dishes. Well, Frank is ready to leave. Has to take the papers to the shed. Jerry, please let me hear from you. Frank will have to settle up. Don't know how you stand. Love, Mom and Frank. And Etch. ECHT. '67 photo here.
I just thought it was really sad that I never got it. I told you about what my son Kenrick's been doing though, didn't I? I only have him every other weekend.
Yeah.
And when he stays the night, I'll just open my eyes and the clock will say 4:30 in the morning, and he's just standing beside my bed. And no explanation except he says that the wooden people are watching me sleep.
Okay.
He's telling that to me. He's telling me the wooden people are watching me sleep. So I don't know what that even means.
What triggers him to get up in the morning like that? Do you know? Does he say?
He doesn't say. He just says, "Daddy, the wooden people are watching you sleep."
So we commenced with the cleansing. Joe wanted to be a part of it. He was kind of skeptical, and then he kind of wavered on that. He was like, well, I don't know if I want to be part of it. Part of it, that fear is based off of, well, he has to live there, you know, and if he pisses it off, then, well, he has to deal with it, which is understandable. Negative or unwanted spirits, undesired spirits, maybe in this property. You need to leave this St. Michael. Cast from this area, from this home. You're no longer welcome. Leave this area now.
You can kind of wave it with your hand too to help push all negative energies. Need to leave this house at once. Be replaced with positive.
Call upon St. Michael the Archangel. Come down here. Help summon. Track the negative, unwanted spirits to you. Take them to where they need to be. Any energies need to be binded to these 3 statues. No longer emit any negative from them. Still told him to take him to the clergy. He doesn't know anybody else. I gotta go back through the second pass with the candles, but
it smells good.
it's removing that negative, but then it kind of, in my belief, I think it's leaving a void a little bit. So when you want to fill it with positive.
Right. I think there's too much, I don't want to say it's a coincidence that I found them all.
Yeah.
Because I found them all at different times. The first one, I found stuffed in the attic of the other house.
Okay.
And then I found the other one at a flea market randomly. Same thing with the third one.
Okay.
Totally different flea market.
Yeah. They're all like of the same
artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're all hand carved.
But also keep in mind sometimes, you know, that coincidence things or things that aren't always good. Either.
Right.
All right. Do you want to go with him since he did it faster? Our standard method is do a smudging saging technique, which is Native American background on that one, and go in there and we push and force it out that way, and then we go back in for round 2, which is part of the 2-prong approach, I call it, with positive energy to reinforce that after the fact. And there's not many teams or providers of that service that do it that way. Good. All right. Well, hopefully it helps you out.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah. Just keep in touch. You know, like I said, like I tell everybody, there's a disclaimer that there's not a one cure for everything kind of thing. This has helped before. We've had pretty good results in the past, but sometimes it will either kill all the activity for 2 or 3 weeks and it kind of starts to kind of easing in again, but less, and doesn't do the same as it did before. Or sometimes it's gone completely. But the main thing is that it's important after this also is to keep positive thoughts on it and keep that mindset, this is my home, you know, this is mine now.
You feel positive energy in there right now?
Yeah. We prefer to have an investigation first. We kind of do some intelligence gathering, work with multiple of our sensitives, spirit sensitives, and we get more of that information, and it provides a better technique to how to deal with it. I tried to treat it like any other kind of client, not making it personal just because I know Joe, but at the same time I was just that much more determined to help him out and make sure, especially because he has a kid now, you know. He beat me to the punch on that, but he has a son now, and so that makes it even more crucial that we get in there and do what we can. And we'll see here where it goes. Always happy to help out Joe and monitor this situation.